Hey, my fans, and welcome back. So, have you seen what's happening in Washington this week? Things have taken quite an unexpected turn. A federal judge has just ordered the Trump administration to pause its planned layoffs of federal workers during the ongoing government shutdown, and the ripple effects of this decision could be massive. Let's unpack what's really going on, why it matters, and what it could mean for the future of government power in America. Alright, so here's the deal. The U.S. government has been in a partial shutdown since October 1st after Congress couldn't agree on funding. Normally, when a shutdown happens, thousands of federal workers are furloughed, basically told to stay home without pay but not fired. But this time around, the Trump administration took things a step further. Officials began sending actual layoff notices to about 4,000 workers across more than 30 agencies. We're talking departments like Treasury, Health and Human Services, Education, and even Housing and Urban Development. Now, think about that for a second. We've had government shutdowns before, but layoffs? That's not how this usually goes. Furloughs are temporary. Layoffs are permanent. It's a whole different ballgame. So, why did the administration make this move? According to several reports, some senior officials argued that this was about reducing government size and cutting costs. But critics, including major federal employee unions, say it's something else entirely. They believe this was an attempt to politically target agencies that tend to lean Democratic or that have been critical of Trump's policies. And that's where things got really heated. Two major unions, the American Federation of Government Employees and the AFL-CIO, filed a lawsuit, claiming the move was not only unfair but flat-out illegal. They argued that the administration was using the shutdown as a pretext to do something it legally couldn't, firing career employees for political reasons. So, fast forward to this week, and that's where Judge Susan Ilston comes in. She issued a temporary restraining order, effectively telling the administration, "Hold up. You can't fire anyone until the courts look into this properly." And just like that, the layoffs were paused. Now here's where it gets interesting. The judge's ruling wasn't about whether the administration's plan was ultimately right or wrong. Not yet. What she said was that there's enough concern here to hit the brakes. She specifically pointed to some public comments made by President Trump and his budget director, Russell Vought, suggesting that these cuts were meant to trim Democrat-heavy agencies. To her, that sounded like a political motive, and in government employment law, that's a serious red flag. Think about it. Should a president be able to use a shutdown to permanently shrink parts of the government they don't politically agree with? Or does that cross the line into dangerous territory, where political power overrides public service? The restraining order is temporary, but it buys time. It means the courts now have to look at whether these layoffs violate federal employment law or constitutional limits on executive power. The administration has already said it plans to appeal, so this could end up becoming a major legal showdown. But beyond the legal side, let's talk about the human side for a moment. Imagine being one of those 4,000 employees. One day you're furloughed, no paycheck, but you expect to go back to work once Congress gets its act together. The next day, you get a letter saying you've been laid off entirely. That's not just a policy shift. That's people's lives being thrown into chaos. Rent, mortgages, healthcare, everything up in the air. And let's not forget what happens to the public when government offices are gutted. Tax refunds delayed. Education grants frozen. Health research halted. Cybersecurity systems unmanned. It's not just about political theater. It's about how our institutions actually function day to day. So here's a question for you. Should a government shutdown, which is basically Congress failing to do its job, ever be used as an excuse to fire workers permanently? Or should it strictly be a pause button, not a demolition switch? The broader issue here is about executive power. Every president wants to make their mark, but there are checks and balances for a reason. If the court eventually rules that this move overstepped legal boundaries, it could set a precedent limiting how future presidents handle shutdowns. On the flip side, if the administration wins, it could open the door for future leaders to use funding lapses as tools for political or structural change. That's a big deal. We're also seeing this case highlight an ongoing tension, not just between political parties, but between branches of government. Congress holds the power of the purse. The president executes the law. But when one side fails to act and the other takes bold unilateral steps, who draws the line? That's the constitutional question hanging in the balance. As for what's next, we can expect an appeal from the Trump administration soon. If the higher courts uphold Judge Ilston's decision, layoffs will stay frozen for now. If not, we could see those job cuts resume even before the legal fight is fully settled. Meanwhile, pressure is mounting on Congress to end the shutdown altogether, but as we've seen before, that's easier said than done. So yeah, this case is about way more than just federal jobs. It's about power, accountability, and the future of how America's government functions during times of political gridlock. It's a fascinating and, honestly, a little unsettling moment in U.S. politics. What do you think? Should the court step in to stop the executive branch from making moves like this? Or should the president have the right to reshape the government workforce during a shutdown? I'd love to hear your take. Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. And hey, if you found this breakdown helpful or thought-provoking, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps more people find the channel. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy deep dives like this one, and share the video with someone who's following the latest political twists. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.